Carl Jung often spoke about mistakes and the human experience of making them in the context of growth and self-awareness. One of his relevant quotes is, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Jung believed that mistakes were an integral part of self-discovery and personal development. He emphasized that errors and missteps are often necessary for individuals to learn, grow, and ultimately integrate their unconscious with their conscious self. Making mistakes, according to Jung, isn't a failure, but a chance to confront and understand the deeper parts of ourselves. Carl Jung's perspective on mistakes and personal growth is deeply rooted in his psychological theories, particularly his ideas about individuation, the process by which a person becomes their true, whole self. Jung believed that the human psyche is complex and that much of our behavior and experiences arise from unconscious forces, thoughts, emotions, and memories that are not immediately accessible to our conscious mind. In this framework, mistakes are not simply errors or failures to be avoided. They are a natural and essential part of the individuation process. For Jung, mistakes act as a mirror, reflecting aspects of the unconscious that we may not be aware of. They reveal inner conflicts, repressed desires, or unresolved psychological issues. In other words, errors often show us what we need to address within ourselves, even if these realizations are uncomfortable or challenging. When Jung says, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are," he is referring to the idea that the ultimate goal of life is not perfection or the avoidance of mistakes, but the full integration of all aspects of oneself, both conscious and unconscious. The journey toward this integration requires acknowledging and confronting the aspects of our personality or psyche that we might not readily accept. This process often involves trial and error, and making mistakes is an essential part of breaking down our illusions and false beliefs about ourselves. Mistakes, in this context, become opportunities for transformation. They force us to move beyond the confines of our comfort zones and engage with the deeper layers of our psyche. Jung believed that by making mistakes and reflecting on them, we come closer to realizing our true, authentic self, which is not a static state but an evolving one shaped by our experiences, including our errors. Therefore, for Jung, mistakes are not signs of failure, but markers on the path to self-actualization. Through them, we confront our shadow, the hidden or less conscious parts of ourselves, and integrate them into our conscious identity. The privilege he refers to is the opportunity to grow, learn, and ultimately become whole, accepting both our strengths and weaknesses. Carl Jung didn't necessarily focus on how to avoid making mistakes in a direct sense, as he viewed mistakes as an essential and inevitable part of the human experience. However, Jung's work offers insight into how to minimize unnecessary mistakes by cultivating a deeper understanding of oneself and the unconscious dynamics that influence behavior. The key lies in self-awareness, integrating the unconscious, and understanding the psychological forces that shape our decisions. Here's how Jung's teachings provide guidance for reducing mistakes, rather than avoiding them altogether. 1. Know yourself and your shadow. One of Jung's central concepts is the shadow, the unconscious part of the psyche that consists of the repressed, hidden, or denied aspects of ourselves. Mistakes often arise from acting on unconscious impulses or unresolved psychological issues, which we are not aware of but which influence our decisions. By engaging in self-reflection and self-analysis, a person can become more aware of these hidden tendencies and integrate them into their conscious self. To reduce mistakes, Jung advised us to examine our own projections, how we project our own unconscious material onto others. By understanding and owning the parts of ourselves we typically reject or ignore, we can make decisions that are more aligned with our true self, reducing the likelihood of unconscious errors. 2. Embrace the process of individuation. Jung's concept of individuation is the process through which an individual integrates their conscious and unconscious mind to become a more complete and authentic person. This process requires confronting inner conflicts and accepting all aspects of oneself, including those that are difficult or unpleasant. When we are more attuned to the entirety of our psyche, we are less likely to make mistakes driven by ignorance of our deeper motivations. Individuation involves developing a harmonious relationship between the ego, our conscious self, and the unconscious. By engaging with our dreams, exploring our creative expression, and reflecting on our inner world, we can better understand the forces influencing our behavior and decisions. This process of integration allows us to act more consciously and thoughtfully, minimizing mistakes born from ignorance or repressed desires. 3. Develop a strong ego and inner balance. A strong, balanced ego, a stable, realistic sense of self, is crucial to making informed decisions and avoiding mistakes. Jung did not advocate for the ego to dominate the psyche but for it to maintain a healthy relationship with the unconscious elements. A well-developed ego provides the strength to make decisions based on conscious awareness rather than being at the mercy of unconscious drives, impulses, or the influence of external pressures. By developing greater self-discipline, emotional regulation, and mindfulness, we can better evaluate situations and make wiser choices. Mistakes often arise from impulsiveness, confusion, or a lack of clarity, traits that a well-balanced ego helps to counteract. 4. Pay attention to archetypes. Jung proposed that archetypes are universal patterns of thought and behavior that reside in the collective unconscious. These archetypes can influence our actions in ways we may not be fully aware of. For example, the hero archetype might compel someone to act impulsively in an attempt to prove their strength or capabilities, potentially leading to rash decisions. By becoming aware of these archetypal patterns, we can understand the unconscious motivations that drive us in different situations. The more conscious we are of these patterns, the more we can act from a place of awareness, and the less likely we are to make mistakes based on unconscious drives. 5. Cultivate self-reflection and active imagination. Jung placed significant emphasis on self-reflection and active imagination, a technique where a person actively engages with their inner thoughts and images in a creative and constructive way. Through journaling, dream analysis, meditation, or creative expression, like art or writing, individuals can uncover hidden aspects of their psyche and clarify their thoughts, leading to more intentional decision-making. By engaging in these practices, individuals can connect with their unconscious material, understand underlying motives, and avoid reactive or hasty decisions that may lead to mistakes. 6. Learn from mistakes. While Jung didn't directly teach methods to avoid mistakes, he did emphasize the importance of learning from them. Rather than seeing mistakes as failures, Jung advocated for viewing them as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. If we can embrace mistakes as learning experiences, they help us gain insight into the unconscious forces at play in our lives. The more we reflect on and understand our errors, the less likely we are to repeat them. 7. Trust in the process of life. Jung believed that life is a process of growth, and part of that growth involves making mistakes. He viewed the unfolding of life as a dialectical process, where every challenge, mistake, and conflict serves a purpose in shaping us. Rather than striving for perfection or the avoidance of all mistakes, he encouraged individuals to trust the natural course of their personal development. Conclusion. Ultimately, Jung did not offer a formula for avoiding mistakes, because he recognized that mistakes are part of the human condition and contribute to our evolution. What he did emphasize, however, was the importance of self-awareness, psychological integration, and the embracing of unconscious aspects in order to make more conscious decisions. The fewer unconscious impulses or repressed emotions that influence us, the less likely we are to make errors driven by blind spots in our psyche. So, in Jungian terms, to avoid making unnecessary mistakes, one should cultivate deep self-awareness. Strive for psychological integration through the process of individuation. Develop a balanced ego that maintains a harmonious relationship with the unconscious. Engage in self-reflection and creative exploration to reveal hidden aspects of the self. Learn from mistakes to refine and develop a more integrated self.